The cry in the ashes, the battlefield was quiet. Too quiet. Dust floated in the air, mixing with the smoke of burnt machines. Broken ships lay scattered across the land like crushed insects. Everything smelled of metal, fire, and blood. Sergeant. Kai walked slowly, his boots crunching on black ash. His armor was scratched, his helmet cracked. The war between humans and the Varelians had ended here, or so they thought. But there was no victory, only silence and ruins. He held his rifle, low, ready for anything. This place felt cursed. Burned trees bent like old bones. Strange shapes rose in the distance, part building, part alien structure. Kai wasn't looking for enemies. He was searching for survivors. Maybe someone from his squad had made it. Maybe someone had crawled into a hole and was still breathing. Then he heard it, a sound, soft, thin, high-pitched. A cry. Kai froze. It wasn't the cry of a wounded soldier. It wasn't a dying animal. It was a baby. He turned toward the sound, heart pounding. The cry came again, closer this time, from a pile of rubble near a half-collapsed alien transport. Carefully he stepped closer, pushing aside burnt panels and shattered glass. And then he saw her, small, no bigger than a bundle of rags, skin pale lavender, almost glowing in the dim light. Thin arms shaking, eyes wide and silver. She was wrapped in a soft cloth, half covered in ash and dust. A Varelian baby. Kai stared. The Varelians were cruel. They had no love for weakness. He had heard the rumors, how they abandoned their young if they were born with flaws. This baby must have been one of them. Too small, too sick, too imperfect. His hand hovered over his weapon. Rules were clear. No alien bioforms were to be rescued, not even children, especially not children. Command feared infection, mind control, traps. But the baby reached out. Her tiny fingers touched his glove. She didn't pull away. She didn't cry louder. She just stared. Kai knelt down. He had fought these aliens, watched them burn cities, kill civilians. Yet this baby, this child, had nothing in her eyes but fear. He looked around. No soldiers, no drones, no eyes watching. Just the cold wind and the quiet world. "You were left behind, huh?" he whispered. The baby blinked. He hesitated. Everything in his training screamed no. But something inside him, something human, said yes. He removed his helmet and leaned close. The baby smelled like smoke and salt. She was cold, so cold. He opened his coat and gently lifted her into his arms. She didn't fight. She simply curled into his chest as if she knew him. Kai stood up. The world suddenly felt bigger, heavier, more dangerous. He wasn't just a soldier now. He was carrying something innocent, something fragile, something the whole galaxy would want to destroy. As he walked away from the rubble, the baby's hand gripped his shirt. "You'll be safe now," he said softly. "I got you." Behind him, a small light blinked on the wrecked alien ship. A signal. Someone, somewhere, had just been alerted. But Kai didn't know that yet. He only knew the warmth of a tiny body against his chest, and the sound of her breathing, slowly calming, in his arms. He didn't know he had just changed the future. He didn't know the galaxy would never be the same again. All he knew was that no one had wanted her, until now. Orders to erase. The cold wind bit through Kai's armor as he moved, through the ruined valley, cradling the alien baby tight against his chest. He had walked for hours, his legs aching, his lungs burning from the smoke in the air. Behind him, the battlefield still glowed with fires that refused to die. The baby, he called her Ari now, slept quietly, her face against his coat. But every time she twitched or whimpered, Kai's grip tightened. He had no plan, no backup, no clearance to carry an alien life form. His comms were still working. He had heard Command's voice earlier, loud and clear, giving final orders. All non-human entities found on the field must be terminated. No exceptions. Ari was not just a non-human, she was the enemy's child. Kai stopped beside a broken tank, its gun twisted like melted plastic. He looked down at her again. Her skin shimmered faintly in the low light. She looked peaceful, small, helpless. How could anyone think this baby was a threat? Still, he knew what would happen if he brought her back to base. Interrogation, dissection, death. His fingers trembled slightly. He activated his wrist comm. Sergeant Kai to Outpost Echo 3. A crackle, then a voice replied. Echo 3 here. We thought you were dead. Almost, Kai muttered. I have something unusual. Unusual? He hesitated. A baby, not human. There was a pause, longer than it should have been. Then the voice came back, colder now, sharper. Please repeat, Sergeant. You said you're carrying an alien infant? Yes, Kai said. Alive, abandoned. She's not hostile. Another long pause, then static. Then a new voice came in. Colonel Rourke. Kai, this is Colonel Rourke. Listen carefully. You are ordered to terminate the subject immediately. Do you copy? Kai froze. Sir, she's just a child. This is not up for debate. She's not a child. She's a threat. Destroy it. Kai looked down at Ari. Her tiny hand clutched a strap on his armor. You want me to kill a baby? That thing could be a weapon, a tracker, a trap. We don't take chances, soldier. Follow your orders. The comm went silent. Kai stood there for a moment, the wind howling around him. He slowly turned off the comm and whispered, I'm done taking orders. Then he started walking, away from base. The outpost was already searching for him. 3 scout drones were launched. Heat scans were deployed. His armor pinged. He was being tracked. Kai found shelter in a collapsed bunker half buried in the side of a hill. The entrance was narrow, but inside it was dry and quiet. He laid Ari down on a soft pile of cloth and sat beside her, heart pounding. His mind raced. Why were they so afraid of her? Was it really just because she was Varelian, or was there something else? He looked at her again. Her chest rose and fell gently. She made tiny noises in her sleep. Her fingers twitched like she was dreaming. Suddenly she whimpered and her eyes snapped open. Silver, glowing, afraid. Kai leaned in. Shh, it's okay. You're safe. But then, the walls began to flicker. Tiny blue lights lit up across the bunker ceiling. Symbols started forming. Alien symbols, ones he couldn't read. Ari's glow was stronger now. Her skin shimmered with light. Kai backed away slowly. What the hell? The bunker door slammed shut behind him. His comms died. A soft hum filled the air, and suddenly a screen appeared from the wall like it was alive. An old cracked face appeared on it. Not human. Not quite alien either. It spoke. Not in words, but in sound. Deep, pulsing tones that echoed inside Kai's skull. He fell. To his knees, Ari sat up. For the first time she made a sound. Not a cry, not a laugh, but a word. One word. Father. Kai's eyes widened. His vision swam. Then, silence. The lights vanished. The door clicked open, and the signal stopped. Kai pulled Ari into his arms again. She looked tired but calm. Her glow faded and her eyes slowly closed. He didn't know what just happened. He didn't know how she spoke, or what she triggered. But he knew one thing now. She wasn't just any alien baby. She was connected to something far bigger than either of them, and the galaxy had just felt her presence. Hunted by his own Sergeant, Kai ran through the thick fog of the ruined wasteland, the baby tight against his chest. Every breath came like fire. Every heartbeat pounded louder than the footsteps behind him. They were coming. Not aliens. Not monsters. His own people. Less than 6 hours ago, he was a hero. Now, Command had labeled him a traitor. A squad of elite human enforcers had been sent to track him down. Not to arrest him, to kill him. They called it containment. They called Ari a biological hazard, but Kai didn't care what they called her. To him, she was still just a baby. The first drone arrived before dawn. It hovered above the dead trees, scanning for heat signatures. Kai spotted it just in time and dropped into a cold creek, hiding beneath the icy water with Ari pressed close to his chest. She whimpered once, but he covered her gently, whispering comfort through chattering teeth. The drone hovered, then drifted away. Kai emerged, shivering, clothes soaked, body aching, but alive. Ari opened her eyes and smiled. He didn't know how she could smile. Maybe she didn't understand the danger. Maybe she did, and trusted him anyway. By midday, they found him, 3 soldiers, black armor, no names, no hesitation. "Sergeant Kai," one called out through a loudspeaker. "You are ordered to surrender the asset immediately." Kai stood behind a rock wall, clutching his rifle and the baby. "The asset?" "They didn't even say baby," he replied, voice hard. "She's a child. She's not a weapon." "Not yet," the voice said. "But she will be. You know that. Don't make us destroy you too." Kai swallowed hard, then ran. Gunfire followed. Rocks exploded behind him. Trees shattered, but Kai didn't stop. He ran until his legs nearly gave out. Every step was a choice. Every breath a war. For hours, they chased him across the broken land. But when night fell, something changed. They found shelter in an old communications tower, long abandoned by both sides of the war. Inside, broken screens flickered and the floor was covered in dust and cracked glass. Kai laid Ari down on a dirty mat, wrapped her in his coat, and sat by the door with his weapon ready. His thoughts wouldn't stop. How did it come to this? He was just a soldier, following orders, doing his job. Now he was hiding like a fugitive, protecting a baby whose very existence seemed to threaten the galaxy. And still, he didn't regret it, not for a second. Ari was sleeping now, her breathing soft and even. He smiled faintly. Then the door creaked. Kai spun around, rifle raised. A figure stood in the doorway. Armor. Helmet. Human. The figure removed the helmet. Kai's eyes widened. Mason? Corporal Mason, his closest friend. They had fought together on 3 planets, bled together, laughed, mourned. "You shouldn't have come," Kai said. Mason sighed. "I had to." His eyes flicked to the bundle beside. "Kai. Is that her?" Kai didn't answer. Mason stepped forward slowly. "Kai. You know what she is. You saw what happened in the bunker. You felt it, right? That energy. She's not just some child. She's mine now," Kai said softly. "And I won't let anyone hurt her." Mason looked torn. "You think you're saving her? But what if you're not? What if she's a ticking bomb and we're standing too close?" Kai didn't flinch. "Then I'll hold her until the end." Silence. Then, footsteps. More soldiers entered, guns raised. Ari woke up. Her silver eyes opened wide and glowed. The air trembled, lights flickered. Every screen in the tower flashed with alien symbols. Kai shielded her. "Stay back!" But Ari wasn't afraid. She stood, barely walking, but standing. And she looked straight at Mason. A soft light spread from her body. Not fire. Not heat. Memory. For a split second, they all saw it. Her memory. A cold alien chamber. Scientists arguing. Command. She will not survive. Dispose of her. A hand reached for her, then dropped her. Alone in the dark. Left to die. And then, Kai's hand, warm, strong, pulling her close. The memory faded. Ari collapsed. Kai caught her. Everyone was silent. Even the soldiers. Mason looked shaken. "Kai. She chose to show us that." Kai nodded. "She's not dangerous. She's just scared, and maybe powerful. But she didn't ask for any of this." Mason lowered his weapon. The others followed. "Go," Mason said quietly, "before command finds you again." Kai didn't waste a second. He carried Ari out the back door, into the cold night, disappearing into shadows. From space, another signal blinked. An ancient machine on a distant moon awoke. A voice whispered in a forgotten tongue, "The child has survived." The hidden signal. The wind had changed. Kai felt it before he heard it. Something deep in the land had awakened. Something ancient. Watching. He moved carefully through the narrow canyons of the red cliffs, baby Ari bundled against his chest. The air was dry, silent, heavy, like it was holding its breath. They had walked for 3 days since the tower. Mason had let them go. He had saved them, but Kai knew mercy couldn't last forever. Sooner or later, command would send someone colder. Someone who followed orders without question. Someone who didn't care if the asset was a child. Kai needed a place to disappear. But where do you hide when the whole galaxy is looking for you? They reached a strange area of cracked stone and glowing moss. Trees here looked twisted, bent, as if by time or grief. In the center stood a tall, alien arch, smooth and black like glass. Ari stirred in his arms. She wasn't glowing now. She was calm, quiet, as if she recognized the place. Kai stepped closer to the arch. His visor picked up. Energy signals, low, pulsing, old, not human, not Varelian either. Something different. Beneath the arch, half buried in sand, was a platform covered in alien markings. Kai stepped onto it. Suddenly light shot up around him. A dome of blue shimmer surrounded them. Ari opened her eyes, and without warning, she floated. Kai gasped and reached out, but something held him back. Ari's body rose gently, spinning in midair, her silver eyes wide, but not afraid. Symbols lit up on the arch. Then, a voice, not in words, but in thoughts. "You have brought the seed. It was not meant to survive, and yet it has. The signal is sent." Kai's jaw clenched. "Who's speaking? What are you?" "The past, the creators, the lost. She is ours, and she is yours. She must choose." The dome flickered. Ari descended slowly. Kai rushed forward and caught her. She was breathing, awake, but confused. Then the ground beneath them shifted. The platform opened, revealing a hidden staircase going down into darkness. Ari pointed. Kai didn't hesitate. They entered the underground temple. The air was warm, filled with faint music like whispers of stars. Walls glowed with soft light. Murals showed strange beings, neither human nor alien, holding children shaped like light itself. Kai followed the path until they reached a wide circular chamber. In the center stood a pillar, and on it, a console. Ari slipped from his arms and walked to it. Her tiny hand pressed the surface. The console lit up. Kai stepped back as the entire room came to life. Holograms floated in the air, showing wars, burning planets, dead empires, and, finally, a baby in a lab with scientists arguing in the background. Kai watched in silence. This place, this temple, and was some kind of vault, a memory bank, and Ari had access to it. She is more than life. She is design. Made to survive extinction, made to carry code. Inside her is a key, to rebirth, or ruin. Kai swallowed hard. He wasn't just protecting a child anymore. He was carrying the last hope of something ancient, and now, the signal had been sent. Above them, in orbit, things were changing. Deep in black space, a ship stirred. It was not human. It was not Varelian. It belonged to something older than both, an ancient race that had once ruled the stars. Now, it had awakened to the signal, the child who should not exist. Its course was set, toward the planet, toward her. On the surface, Kai and Ari left the temple. He carried her again, his arms tighter than before. Her skin glowed faintly, and her voice was soft. "They're coming," she said. Kai stopped. "Who?" Ari looked up at the stars. "Everyone." At that moment, back at human command, alarms blared. A fleet had appeared at the edge of known space. Ships of unknown origin. Unmatched energy readings. No communication. Only one transmission was repeated on every frequency. Return the child. Colonel Rourke stared at the message with cold eyes. Launch the full hunt, he said. Bring me the traitor and the asset, dead or alive. Sir, a technician asked, what if these ships attack? Rourke didn't blink. Then we end it before they reach her. Kai didn't know all of this yet. He only knew the stars were no longer quiet. He only knew the child he had saved was not just his to protect anymore. She was wanted, feared, and maybe loved by something he couldn't understand. He looked down at her. Ari was still watching the sky, and for the first time, she looked afraid. The truth of her blood, the fire crackled quietly in the cave. Kai sat close to the warmth, staring into the flames with heavy eyes. The wind outside howled against the rocky walls, but inside the world was still. Ari slept beside him, wrapped in the last pieces of his jacket. Her skin glowed faintly in her sleep, like a tiny moon. They had been running for days. After the signal from the alien vault was triggered, everything changed. Satellites blinked out of orbit. Human Command declared a full red alert. And across, the stars, ancient forces, long thought dead, were beginning to move. All because of her. Ari. The child who wasn't supposed to survive. And now, everyone wanted her blood. Kai touched the edge of his rifle, but it wasn't the weapon that gave him strength anymore. It was her. When he held her, he felt something different. Like the universe was holding its breath, waiting. He didn't understand it, but deep down he knew. Ari was not just a child, she was something. More. He just didn't know what. Yet. That night they were not alone. A noise echoed through the cave tunnel, soft footsteps. No armor. No weapons. Kai stood quickly, ready to fire. But what stepped into the light was a being Kai had never seen before, tall, robed, with pale, cracked skin and eyes like black glass. Not human, not Varelian. Something else. The figure raised both hands slowly. Not a threat, not a soldier. Peace, it spoke, voice old and quiet. I come for her, not to take, but to explain. Kai didn't lower his weapon. You know who she is? The figure nodded. She is what we buried. What your kind, and theirs were never meant to find. What is she? The old being stepped closer to the fire. She is the bridge, he said. The last fragment of a race older than yours. We were the Sheltherin. Long before humans, long before Varelians. We seeded stars, guided species. We were caretakers. Kai frowned. So what happened? We fell, the being said, softly. War tore us apart, and we vanished. But we left something behind. Not weapons, not machines. Something living. He looked down at Ari. One cell, one spark, one vessel. Kai felt his heart race. You're saying she's one. Of you? She's more, the being said. Your scientists took that spark. They didn't know what they held. They thought they were building a hybrid. Something better. Stronger. Kai's eyes narrowed. You mean she was made in a lab? The being nodded. Yes, created, but not by chance. Her blood carries knowledge, code, keys locked in memory, enough to restore what was lost, or destroy what still stands. Kai stepped back, staring at the girl who now stirred from sleep. She looked up at him with soft silver eyes. Is that why the fleets are coming? He asked. Because they're afraid of her? No, the old being said. They are not afraid of her. They are afraid of you. Kai blinked. Me? You held her, protected her, and now, her bond has chosen you. Ari reached out, her hand gently touching Kai's. The old being whispered, she has imprinted Suddenly a searing flash burned across Kai's mind. Memories not his. Images of stars collapsing, ships of light, creatures of shadow, whole civilizations rising and falling, and then silence. Ari's voice in his mind. I chose you. Kai fell to his knees, breath short, eyes wide. Ari knelt beside him, resting her forehead against his. The old being bowed. It is done, he said. You are no longer just a guardian. You are now part of the bloodline. Kai looked at his hands. Faint glowing lines marked his palms now like alien veins. He didn't know what it meant. But he knew one thing. This wasn't just about saving a child anymore. This was about saving everything. Far above the planet, the ancient ships drifted closer. On the command deck of one vessel, a being spoke in a forgotten language. She has awakened the bond. Another nodded. The human carries the link. What do we do now? The first voice answered coldly. We erase them. Both. Meanwhile, in human space, Colonel Rourke received a private transmission from an unknown source. One message. Your soldier carries the key. If you value your species, remove him. Rourke stared at the words, then turned to his officers. Prepare the kill teams. Planetfall in 20 hours. Deep in the cave, Kai held Ari close. She whispered in her sleep, and one word echoed across the fire-lit walls. Father. He didn't know how the galaxy would come for them, but he knew this. He would fight every last star to keep her safe, because her blood carried the future, and his soul had already accepted it. War for the child. They came at dawn. No warning. No mercy. The sky split open with fire as ships rained down from orbit, black, silent, and shaped like blades. From the distant mountains, thunder roared as explosions lit the horizon. Kai stood at the mouth of the cave, shielding Ari in his arms as the ground shook beneath them. They had found them. Again. But this time, it wasn't just human soldiers, it was everyone. The Ancient Ones had arrived first, silent cruisers cloaked in black stone, hovering like ghosts over the forest. They called themselves the Wardens, protectors of old codes, the last loyal children of the Shaelthirin. They didn't want to kill Ari. They wanted to control her. Next came the Varelians, their warships bleeding red light across the atmosphere. They didn't want to control her. They wanted to erase her existence, burn her from memory. For them, she was a genetic betrayal, a broken link that proved they were not gods, only monsters. And then, humanity. Kai's own people. Command had sent down a full strike force, infantry, drones, dropships, tanks. They didn't care about right or wrong anymore. They only wanted results. Terminate the traitor, the order said. Retrieve the asset. Kai didn't run this time. He couldn't. Ari was too weak now. Her glow was flickering. Her skin had gone pale. Something inside her was changing, and fast. The knowledge inside her blood, the alien code, was waking up. It was burning through her little body, and it was killing her. Kai laid her down gently, in the temple chamber back where it all began. Glowing vines curled along the walls. The same platform where she'd once floated now pulsed with unstable energy. He turned to the old being, the last Shaelthirin who had followed them through the caves. You said she could survive this, Kai growled. The old one lowered his head. Only if the bond is complete. She must not be alone. The code must link with you. Link? Kai stepped closer. You mean transfer? Not transfer, the being said. Share her pain, her power, her destiny. Kai looked down at Ari. She opened her eyes just barely and whispered, Don't go. He held her hand, and in that moment, it began. Outside, chaos. The three armies met in the forest around the ancient temple. Lasers streaked the sky. Tanks roared across rivers. Fire and lightning danced as alien forces clashed with human technology. The air burned with plasma and hatred. A massive warship shaped like a serpent opened fire on a human carrier. Explosions tore through the clouds. On the ground, Colonel Rourke marched through the smoke, a plasma rifle in his hand and rage in his heart. "Kill the traitor," he shouted. "Bring me the girl." His men advanced, but the forest began to change. The trees shifted, the earth cracked, and then silence. All eyes turned toward the temple. Kai stepped out, but he didn't look the same. His eyes glowed silver, his veins shimmered with light. Ari stood beside him, smaller than ever but upright, alive, her hand locked in his. Together, they radiated power. Not fire, not destruction, but something deeper. Balance. Kai's voice echoed across the battlefield. Not loud, but heavy. This child is not your weapon. She is not your enemy. And she is not alone. Some soldiers raised their guns. Others lowered them. The sky flickered. Above, the ships began to turn. Some backed away. Others charged. And that was when Ari stepped forward. Her voice rang out like a bell. A wordless hum that stopped time. One by one, weapons powered down. Ships froze. Machines knelt. Ari lifted her arms and released it. A wave. Not of light, but of memory. Every soldier, every being saw what Kai had seen. A child left to die. A spark held by hands that refused to let go. A man who chose love over orders, a bond that changed everything. The wave passed, and when it ended, the war was over, but not for all. Colonel Rourke, shaking with fury, raised his weapon. "You think this changes anything? She's a threat. She's not human. We can't risk her." Kai stepped in front of Ari. "I'm done risking her. You want to shoot someone? Shoot me." Rourke did. A single shot. But before it hit Kai, Ari caught it. In midair. She held the burning plasma in her palm, eyes glowing bright. Then she opened her hand, and the energy vanished. Rourke fell to his knees. No one stopped him. No one needed to. Kai turned to Ari and lifted her up in his arms. "You okay?" he asked softly. She smiled, tired. "Better now." Across the galaxy, old machines turned. Off ancient eyes closed. The signal was complete, and the child had chosen her path. The father's stand, the fires had stopped. The smoke was gone, but the scars remained. Deep in the ancient valley, beneath a quiet sky, Sergeant Kai stood with a child in his arms, and every eye in the galaxy was now watching. Drones hovered above, broadcasting across systems. Alien observers transmitted signals to homeworlds. Human fleets held position in orbit, weapons offline, waiting for one man to make a move. They had never seen anything like this. A soldier branded a traitor. A child branded a threat. Yet here they stood side by side, breathing and alive. Ari clung to Kai's chest, her body weak but no longer breaking. She was healing, slowly. The link between them, man and alien, soldier and child, had stabilized something inside her. The power that once burned her from the inside had calmed. The code within her had settled. The ancient knowledge of the Shale Theron had found an anchor. And it had chosen him. Kai looked out at the gathered forces, on land, in the sky, across the stars. Their weapons were silent, but their hearts weren't. Fear still lived inside them. So did greed. They hadn't come just to destroy. Some had come to claim her. Some still wanted to use her. But Kai wasn't going to let that happen. Not now. Not ever. A platform rose from the earth beneath his feet, an ancient alien system responding to the bond between him and Ari. Symbols lit up along its edge, forming a glowing circle around them. A voice echoed across the valley, mechanical and old. Final interface active. Bloodline verified. Speaker chosen. Speak your will. Kai took a breath. He looked down at Ari, then stepped forward. "My name is Kai," he said, his voice steady, broadcast across systems. "I am human. I was a soldier. I followed orders. I killed when I was told to, and I never questioned why." He looked around, until I found her. He gestured to the girl in his arms. Her silver eyes were open now, watching quietly. She was thrown away, like garbage, by her own kind, abandoned, forgotten. He paused. And my people? We wanted her dead too, not because she did anything, but because we were afraid of what she might become. His eyes burned now. I didn't see a weapon. I didn't see a threat. I saw a baby, crying, alone. His voice cracked, so I held her. Silence followed. Ships hovered in place. Generals listened. Alien lords waited. And I'll keep holding her, he said, because she's mine now. A long pause. Then the platform lit up again. Does the bloodline wish to be sealed? Kai hesitated. Ari touched his chest. Yes, she whispered. Kai looked up. Seal it. The sky changed. From above, a massive energy pulse burst into the atmosphere. Not an attack, but a signal. Golden light spread across the clouds, carrying data, language, and history. Every ship, every being watching, understood. The girl was not a weapon. She was a choice. A chance to restore balance, to begin again, or destroy everything. But that choice no longer belonged to the governments or empires. It belonged to her and the human who chose to protect her. A few minutes later, Colonel Rourke landed in the valley under a white flag. He stood before Kai. No weapons, no tricks. He was older, now defeated not by force but by truth. We were wrong, Rourke said. Kai didn't answer. I wanted to stop her, control her, feared what she'd become. Kai nodded slowly. She's just a kid. Rourke looked at the girl. She waved at him and smiled. He couldn't help but smile back. What happens now? Rourke asked. Kai looked at the sky. We go home. The girl, Ari, would never be just a child again, but she would be raised as one. She would learn to laugh, to run, to choose her own path. Not as a project, not as a prophecy, but as a person. And Kai? He would no longer be just a soldier. He was now a father, a guardian, a legend, the man who held the galaxy's future in his arms and refused to let go. Epilogue. Years later, on a quiet planet with green hills and no wars, a small girl with silver eyes runs across a meadow. Her laughter fills the air. Behind her walks a man, older, with graying hair and scars he never tried to hide. They stop under a tree. She climbs onto his shoulders. Do you think they still talk about us? She asks. Kai smiles. Probably. Do you miss the war? Never. Do you ever regret saving me? Kai looks up at her, not even for a second. She hugs him, and the wind carries their laughter into the stars.